So my psychiatrist admitted to me that talk therapy is bullshit. I'm going to tell you all about that right now. I'm Dr. Dave, and welcome to Microdose U. And before we get into today's episode, I just want to make sure you always know that this is not medical advice. Even though I am a doctor, I'm a retired dentist, I am not authorized to be giving out medical advice on YouTube. I share my experience of what I've been through as far as with anxiety, depression, microdosing, how that's all helped me. And you're free to take away anything you want, but it's not official medical advice. So about 4 to 5 months after I started microdosing magic mushrooms, I was sitting in my psychiatrist's office for a regular appointment. And at that time, I was still on antidepressants, or I should say antidepressants, singular. It was Lexapro. And we were having a really nice little chat. And I came in with my little notebook here, it's just something like this. And I said, hey, doc, let me share with you what I've learned from microdosing. And yeah, he knew that I was microdosing. He was in favor of it, actually. And I began to read off some things about my life that I figured out why I feel like this now, what happened in the past. And after reading off a list of things that I figured out from microdosing, he kind of came forward to me and said, Dave, I've got to tell you something. What you learned in 4 to 5 months, whatever it was, 4 to 5 months, it would have taken you over 20 years of talk therapy to have realized all that and to have figured all this stuff out. So, first of all, I was very happy to hear the progress I made just from microdosing. And second of all, I took that to mean, from his words, if you just read between the lines, that talk therapy is bullshit. Because who can afford to spend 20 years on coming in, sitting on the sofa in somebody's office and chatting and trying to improve your life? That's not a way, that's way too slow. And he didn't even guarantee that 20 years would do it. So it could possibly be more. Now, I've spent a lot of time in therapist's office over the years. Going back to my first marriage, I used to see a therapist sometimes, off and on, and she was really nice, and we had good sessions, and I paid her a lot of money. But did it really help me? No, I can't say that it did. It didn't change my life in any way. It didn't. I really wish I would have had somebody good, because she would have let me see what was going on in my life and my marriage, and I would have been able to make decisions faster than I had done. So I wish it worked, but it didn't work at all. And then once I got divorced, and again, this is my first marriage, when I got divorced, I went to see a therapist. She was a psychiatrist. So a psychiatrist is an MD, a physician. And I would go in, and not only did she prescribe me antidepressants, but we would have an hour talk about 2 to 3 times a week. And it was fun. I mean, it was actually fun going in and chatting with somebody and telling her about my life. But when I look back now, it didn't help me at all. It didn't help me figure things out. It didn't help me change it. And she was very, very highly regarded physician, MD, and psychiatrist. It's not that she was no slouch. But sometimes therapists don't even know what to say, and sometimes they say horrible things. Now, she said something to me at one point towards the end of my therapy. I never went back to her after this, but we were somehow, I don't know, sometimes you get on tangents. We were talking about, this must have been in 2008, because we were talking about the upcoming presidential election, and I was telling her how I'm not going to be voting for Obama. I don't really like Obama. And she immediately looked at me and said, David, if you don't like Obama, or if you're not voting for Obama, that means you're a racist. And I really took offense to that, because first of all, how can anybody call me a racist because I'm not voting for one of the candidates? Does that mean anytime there is a female, a person of color, or somebody that's different from me, if I don't vote for that candidate, that means I am a racist or a sexist or whatever it might be? If there was a gay person running for president, I didn't vote for him or her, that means I'm anti-gay. That is the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. And I called her out on that and told her that was absolutely untrue. You're unprofessional, and I'm never coming back to you. And that's what happened. So therapists don't know everything, and sometimes they're pretty darn stupid. Now, I've got a guy that I go to, or that at least that I used to go to here in Salt Lake, because he's a really great guy, and I really like him a lot. And we would go in and have some chats, but it was mostly just to check up on my meds. And I asked him about microdosing, and he encouraged me. He said there's a lot of great research, and he couldn't like officially tell me to do it, but in kind of talking off the record, he said, yeah, it would probably be a good idea to try that. He said he had a lot of patients that do it with good results. And so I did. And like I said, several months later, I came into him with these revelations about my life, and he was just amazed at how I not only learned what took place in my life, how it affected me, but also how much better I started feeling very, very quickly. So my point is, I think in most cases, I can't say in all cases because I have not experienced every talk therapist in the world, but in most cases from what I've seen, talk therapy is slow, it's ineffective. If it does work at all, it would take a long, long, long time. I think maybe cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, could be better. I've never had a good therapist that did that, but there probably are some good ones that do that. But from everything I've learned from the gamut of talk therapy to antidepressants, anti-anxiety drugs, to psilocybin and magic mushrooms, there's one clear winner that I have seen, and you know what it is because I'm doing this episode today, and my whole channel and my life these days is based on this because it's turned things around just in an unbelievable manner. So I wanted to share that with you. It's just am I down on talk therapy? I've never met somebody in my life that went to talk therapy and they said their talk therapy totally turned them around. They feel fantastic every day. They don't have any depression anymore. They don't have any anxiety. I've never seen it. I've never seen it happen. Whereas I could say confidently with magic mushrooms, I feel like a different person. I'm sitting here and enjoying my life, enjoying this phase of my life with no anxiety, no depression. And I just look at all the people that I know and people that I've come in contact with and people that I communicate with that are having really, really tough issues. And this is not for everybody because some people that I talk to, I just feel they're not ready for it. It could be a family member or it could be a close friend. And I feel like they could use some help, but they're not ready. And I never try to push this on somebody unless they really feel they are ready. They know what's going on. They've seen my episodes. They've gone to my website. By the way, I started something brand new on my website. It's davidmadow.com, DAVIDMADOW.com. I've got a microdosing resource page on there. And what I'm trying to do is answer the most basic of basic questions about microdosing because a true beginner doesn't even know where to start. A true beginner doesn't even know exactly how to define the word microdosing or what it is or how to do it. So I've started a resource page. If you can think of any basic questions that people would ask or that you would like to know the answer to, put them in the comments below and I'll see if I can answer them on my resource page. And this is an evergreen page. It's always going to be there. But it's got several questions that I've answered, and it's going to be growing, and I'm going to be answering more. So please, down below, if you want to have, if there's something that you think I'm missing on there, let me know. And if I think it's a good one, I'll try to put it up there, and we'll help a lot of people. This community is growing. I really appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that's engaged with me, and not only me, but people that are in this community with us. And it seems like a lot of you know each other, and that's great. I don't want to be the largest podcast out there or the largest YouTube channel. That when somebody told me that the other day, they said, when you get too big, it doesn't feel like you're doing it for us anymore. It just feels like you're trying to crank out the numbers. And I never want it to feel that way. And if it ever feels that way to you, please let me know because I'll back off and I'll slow down a little bit because I don't want this to be about numbers, about how many people view my shows or listen to my podcast. That part doesn't really matter because if I help one person per episode or one person per month, if I change a life, that means a lot more to me than how many people are actually viewing my YouTube videos or or listening to my podcast episodes. That's what means more to me. I just want to change lives. That's all I want to do, and I'm really happy to have this community with you guys. So I hope this one helped today. Again, remember, go to my website, davidmadow.com. It's just one D. Well, it's many D's. It's DAVIDMADOW. There's several D's in there, but I meant one D in Madow. That's what I meant. And we'll have another episode on this couch right here very soon. The only thing I got out of my therapist, by the way, was over the years was writing huge checks. They made a lot of money, and I don't have a problem with a provider making a lot of money from me or for anybody else if they're really doing the job and if they're truly changing a life. But just going in and talking to somebody once a week or a couple times a week and writing a big check and not having anything really change in the way I feel on a daily basis, that's a no-no to me. That's not what it's all about. So that's why I'm such a believer in magic mushrooms, in psychedelics, in psilocybin. It is a game changer. Have I said that enough? Okay, I'll stop today then. I'll see you next time. Love you. I'm Dr. Dave. See you later.